Weatherbell Analytics, meteorologist Joe Bastardi. I'm in Whippany, New Jersey right now. And I'm here because of a family function. But the raging weatherbull rages on no matter what. And so let's take a look at what's going on with Barry, which is very close to hurricane force now. 70-mile-an-hour winds being reported or being used as the ob. But we've seen some flight level winds now, 70 knots. Showing up, and there have been gusts to 90 miles an hour off the Louisiana coast at 225 feet already, which of course would be skyscraper level. So the center is right in here, and now these bands are starting to form on the eastern side of it. When we take a look at the movement, it's going in at Morgan City, and then this evening it'll be 150 miles or so west of New Orleans, and then up pretty close to Shreveport after that. And you can see the being forecasted in New Orleans 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. But look at that band of strong winds that gets right over Baton Rouge. So, if you like that Garth Brooks song, Calling Baton Rouge, maybe tough to get a call in this evening. So this continues to push water up. And that is the big problem. Now, the Army Corps of Engineers and the River Forecast Office remain confident this is going to stay below flood stage. But there's going to be a heck of a lot of rain. New Orleans, 6 to 10 inches, it looks like. And there's the 1 to 2 foot swath of heavy rain that's heading up over Baton Rouge. So when you look at it, the U.S. hurricane models were off to the east. The European wound up doing a little bit better. The GFS had to shift west toward the European. And so it was a weird game with this storm, with which models were doing better at one time. The European certainly at the front of the storm, and then the GFS took over for a while, then the European took over. So again, a slow-moving storm, and the idea that this storm is being caused by climate change and this situation is just, I don't know. It's hard. The whole thing is horrible. The propaganda is horrible. Now we have this other wave back in the Atlantic, and that's falling apart, coming west. You see why? There's so much dry air here. And when we get to the sea surface temperatures, boy, this really cooled off east of the Bahamas. You see it cool here. There's that belt of warm water in here. And you say, well, Joe, if the water's so warm in here, that means an enhanced season. And this cold water, this is a positive signal for more wave development. This is not, and this is not up here. And the reason why is it tends to make the upper ridge stronger here, which in turn makes up surface high stronger, which in turn increases the easterly flow in the low levels, which relative to the upper levels means more shear. And the other problem you have is way over in India, where the monsoon has been well, it's been late, but it's kind of funky looking. And usually late Indian monsoons are correlated with lower than normal main development region activity. Now that's a very, very old school idea. I learned that when I was back in college. I wanted to show you the storm's already cooling the water off the Louisiana coast here. As you can see, all the upwelling going on. Major burst of the Southern Oscillation Index is occurring now. This 13.1 over the last 30 days is in moderate El Nino category. It's weak El Nino the last 90 days here, and the daily is still down very low. Now, I think this is the last big westerly burst, but that will have an impact on the overall pattern, and then when it falls apart, that too will have to be dealt with. And you can see the Southern Oscillation Index going into the tank here. I mean, we're at the lowest 30-day level we've seen of this particular El Nino. Anyway, that's it for now. Enjoy the weather. It's the only weather you got.